Welcome back to the channel where we take awesome out of the box. In this one, we're talking about the Moto Edge 20 Pro, one of the most powerful phones Motorola has launched here in the Philippines. Now the question is it worth your hard-earned money? This device is priced at 29,995 pesos or 27,995 if you pre-order. I'll leave details down below if you want to check it out, but of course, if you decide to buy this early, you will be getting some interesting freebies. But here's a snapshot of what the Edge 20 Pro has to offer. You have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 870, a very powerful processor, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, non-expandable, a 108 megapixel main camera, 4,500 milliamp hour battery, and it's all running on Android 11 with Motorola MyUX. So if you just look at those key specs, this is a very capable phone, but of course, let's take a closer look. Now the first thing you'll notice with the Edge is that it's lost its edge, meaning you no longer have a curved display like you did in the previous model. Personally, I think that's a good move. Leia and I have had our own accidents with them, and we have seen brands who have championed curved display go back to the more traditional flat screen. Now for the body, you get a nice matte finish for the Edge 20 Pro, and in true blue, yes, pun intended, Motorola fashion, it comes all cased up when you unbox the device. From what I know, this is the only colorway that this phone will be available in, at least here in the Philippines. There is a vegan leather version of the Edge 20 Pro, but we're not sure if it's going to be arriving locally. And when it comes to handling, this phone does have great ergonomics. It has the right amount of curves to make it sit comfortably in the hand. It's not that weighty as well, but it's definitely going to be more of a two-hander because of its size. Sadly, I do have some issues with the button placement of the Edge 20 Pro, but that does give me a nice little segue to give you guys a tour of the phone. Let's start on the left side where you have the Google Assistant button that's pretty hard to reach, even for me, because it's near the top of the phone. Now, I really don't get why they put it there. It makes it even harder to use. And to my knowledge, it's not even customizable. I could be wrong about that. And if I am, let me know in the comment section. How do you customize it? But let's get back to the tour. On the right side, you have the volume rocker and your combination power button and fingerprint scanner. Now, the placement is slightly higher than I wanted it, but it's not too bad. The important part here is that it unlocks the phone pretty quickly and it's very accurate as well. Up on top, there's only a mic, which leaves me with the bottom where you'll find the lone speaker for the Moto Edge 20 Pro, the USB-C port, and the SIM tray. Now, sadly, for those of you who need a micro SD card slot, you're out of luck here since the tray will only accommodate 2 SIM cards. Now, one thing that I absolutely love about the Edge 20 Pro is the display, because you guys know this, I am a sucker for a good OLED screen. It measures in at 6.7 inches, making it perfect for a tito like me who might need to adjust the text size to make things a bit easier to read. Now you're getting full HD plus resolution and a refresh rate that goes all the way up to 144 Hertz. And so you can see how smooth the animation really is on 144 Hertz. Here it is slowed down on the right side of the screen versus 60 Hertz on the left using the Edge 20 Pro. By the way, you'll only get to 144 Hertz if you set it manually. If you go with the auto refresh rate, it only goes up to 120 Hertz. So keep that in mind. You will be getting a super responsive screen, but of course at the cost of battery life. Aside from that though, the picture quality on this is really good. Zero complaints from me on that side. And in case you're wondering, yes, Widevine L1 if you're planning on watching a ton of Netflix shows, so it does have full HD capabilities. The only downside for me, at least in the entertainment aspect, is the speaker. Like I said, you are only getting one, but to be fair, it does sound pretty good. But at this price, I would have loved to see stereo speakers to match the competition, but here's a quick sample so you can see or hear what I'm talking about. Moving on to the cameras, you are getting 3 on the back of the Edge 20 Pro and a 32 megapixel front camera hidden away in that punch hole. And I'm so happy that they didn't put any stat stuffers here. You're getting a 108 megapixel main camera, a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and an 8 megapixel periscope with 5 times optical zoom. The team and I are very impressed with the results that we got with the main shooter. It does pixel bin to 12 megapixels at the end of the day, but that results in sharper images, and that does seem to be the case with the samples we were able to take. Background separation for portrait mode is also pretty good and gets the wife's seal of approval, which means this is going to be good for you Instagram husbands out there. Is that even still a thing? Anyway. Shots from the ultra-wide camera offer more versatility to capture landscapes if you decide to escape the city for a breather on the weekends, but expect details to take a hit. It's not a deal breaker and still definitely usable for posting online. The results from night mode, or night vision as they call it on the Edge 20 Pro, are a bit of a hit or miss, so I want you guys to manage your expectations. And I'll be honest, I don't really use telephoto cameras all that much on smartphones, but here's a quick look at your standard wide-angle lens on the main cam. And I promise guys, I'm not spying on the neighbors. This is a camera at 5 times optical zoom, and you're still getting a good amount of detail here. 10 times is still pretty decent for digital zoom. 20 times is where you'll see things get a bit muddy, which means at 50 times, well, let's just say we definitely won't be using this as much. Might be good to have in the tool belt though, so you never know. You can see more sample photos on the website. I'll leave a link down below, but now let's jump over to the video side of things. The Edge 20 Pro can shoot up to 8K, but I wouldn't use it that often. It's jittery, and I think 4K is where it's at for this phone. You can shoot up to 4K 60p, but I'm showing you guys everything shot in 30, and the stabilization is good. Not the best, but it's good. You are restricted to the main camera here, so if you want to use the wide angle or even the telephoto, you will need to bump down resolution to 1080. And as you can see on screen, the transition between cameras aren't smooth. So again, something to keep in mind. And now let's talk about the internals of the Edge 20 Pro. Again, Qualcomm Snapdragon 870, 12 gigabytes of RAM with the option for RAM boost as well, and 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage. So the processing package of this phone does deserve 2 thumbs up. The numbers it racked up on our synthetic benchmarks are pretty good. It will of course lag behind the Snapdragon 888 quite a bit, but you can still expect a ton of power under the hood of this device. Now, all your favorite games should be handled fairly easily by the Edge 20 Pro as well, and its thermals are manageable. You will feel a bit of warmth for prolonged gaming sessions, but nothing unexpected. For the battery capacity of this device, it's not all that impressive since it's only at 4,500 milliamp hours. It still managed to clock in at a decent time in our battery benchmark at 10 hours and 34 minutes, meaning it's good, but not stellar. You are only getting 30-watt charging on the Moto Edge 20 Pro as well, which feels very conservative given that the competition has doubled or even tripled the wattage for their charging. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. We did a 30-minute test to see how much juice we could get, and the phone hopped from 15% to 55%, and the total time from 0 to 100 was about 1 hour and 20 minutes. As for the software, the Edge 20 Pro is running on Android 11, and usually I would be telling you that you're getting a stock Android experience here, but they did layer on Motorola MyUX, but thankfully it doesn't get in the way, so you are getting a stock-ish experience. Which brings us to the very big question of, should you get the Motorola Edge 20 Pro? It is a great phone that offers a ton of features: an awesome display, powerful internals, good camera performance, and those are the three things I usually look for in a smartphone. So the Edge 20 Pro is a solid option if you're looking to get what is considered a premium mid-range phone. But there is one downside. It is a bit more expensive than some of its competition. I would still definitely recommend checking this out to see if it checks all the right boxes for what you need in a smartphone, because at the end of the day, it is your money to spend. This display is freaking sweet though. And there you have it, folks. That was the Motorola Edge 20 Pro. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, sub to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can. For all the latest in tech, head to Unbox.ph. Plus, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. My name is Tito James. Peace, God bless. See you guys next time, and of course, stay safe.